And this has been confirmed, too. I first heard about this last night. Fox News special report. Get this. So here's what happened. I didn't have any backup for this. I've got TV on in the background doing other things. And during special report last night, there was a reason provided for why we have not hit any ISIS oil centers or transportation depots or trucks or any of that. And I was incredulous when I heard it. And I said, I said, it's got to be true. It's Obama. But part of me couldn't believe it. We have not hit any oil tanker trucks specifically for the last several years because the Obama administration had decided the drivers were civilians and therefore could not be killed. You know, after the French attacks last Friday, the French went in and had a big hit on Raqqa, which is the ISIS headquarters in Syria. And there was a question that was asked shortly after that. Why is Raqqa still standing? I mean, it's been the ISIS headquarters for who knows how long. Why is it still there for the French to take out? And we find out that Obama never hit it, and he hasn't hit anything to do with the oil fields, the oil industry, oil wells and fields and areas that ISIS has commandeered. It's the primary source of money, fuel, and fund their operations. And we haven't hit it. And the usual explanation is one found in environmental concerns. Well, we don't want to hit those oil fields. My God, can you imagine the eruptions and the potential fires and the pollution and the economic or ecological damage? No. We can't go out and hit the oil field. No. Well, it turns out none of that was the reason that we left them alone. Despite the fact that these oil tankers are transporting oil that has been used to pay for ISIS's murderous projects. We didn't hit those trucks because the regime said they're more than likely driven by civilians. And here's the backup for it. It's from the Washington Free Beacon. U.S. military pilots who have returned from the fight against ISIS in Iraq are confirming that they were blocked from dropping 75% of their ordnance on terror targets because they could not get the clearance to launch a strike. This is according to Congressman Ed Royce, Republican California, who's chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Strikes against ISIS are often blocked due to an Obama administration policy to prevent civilian deaths and collateral damage. It looks like it's more of the restrictive rules of engagement that has our hands tied in Afghanistan. And now the policy is being blamed for allowing Islamic State militants to gain strength across Iraq and to keep waging terror strikes throughout the region and beyond, according to Ed Royce and former military leaders who spoke Wednesday about the flaws in the U.S. campaign to combat the Islamic State. So we're not even serious about this, folks. Remember, the purpose of armies and the reason for war is to kill people and break things. Now, in this PC era, I can imagine some of you out there, particularly you young millennials, who have not grown up in a particularly contentious, militarily contentious time, and you hear something like that, and it's maybe the meanest, most extremist, outrageous thing you've ever heard. And you can't believe I'm getting away with saying it. And you can't believe that somebody's not going to make me pay for saying it. What do you mean the purpose of armies is to kill people and break things? That's outrageous. That's so mean. I can't believe you could say that. It's exactly the truth. The purpose of armies is to kill people and break things. And there's even more to it. You keep killing people and breaking things until your enemy surrenders and apologizes to you for starting the whole thing in the first place. That's how wars end. And this is a world governed by the aggressive use of force. And we are in the middle of a war, and we're not fighting it. We cannot hit oil tankers. We cannot hit oil depots. We cannot hit oil fields because Obama says there are civilians there. And they would end up being collateral damage. And therefore, they're off limits. Well, If they're off limits, there's no end to this. And if they're off limits, there's no way we're going to win this with these kinds of rules of engagement. It simply isn't going to be possible. You take a look. Go back. What am I saying? Take a look. Nobody's going to do this. I don't know how I even came across this. Believe it or not, I think it was. I was reading something on one of my tech blogs, and there was a story on one of the tech blogs about particular operations in World War II over the English Channel and some of the technology that was involved. And the story had to do with all of the civilian targets that were taken out by German targets in France that they had taken over that had to do with supply lines and depots. The point is, you cannot wage a war without hitting such targets. You hit fuel depots. You hit factories where they are making weapons. You hit factories where they're building airplanes. And this is what you do in war. It's what's always been done. We've been so PC about it that there were times in World War II we dropped flyers warning average citizens to get out of the area within the next 10 minutes or 12. We were coming. We warned them we were going to be dropping bombs. But civilian casualties, this is really going to shock some people, particularly our young college children who want to feel safe. Many wars have been won precisely because of the number of civilians killed. That's why Japan surrendered near Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's why the Japanese surrendered. And there were a significant number of civilian deaths in our bombing of Germany. And by the way, the Germans were trying to kill civilians in Britain. That's what it was all about. That's what the Blitz was all about. The purpose of armies is to kill people and break things. And now we're governed by these surgical strikes where if we can't be guaranteed of only hitting a military soldier, then we don't do the attack. In fact, you young college children, that's one of the reasons Osama bin Laden was still alive, to direct the attacks on 9/11. He was in our crosshairs numerous times before 9/11. Bill Clinton and the gang would not pull the trigger on bombing where he was because there were women and children around. Purpose of armies, kill people and break things. And here we have Barack Hussein Obama with restrictions on targets we can't hit because there might be civilians there. Look, the bottom line is all that means is that there's no way we're going to win this. We're not going to slow it down, and we're not going to get close to even stopping it. And this is what gives rise to questions. How serious is Obama about this? This is why so many people think it's really getting dangerous out here. But we're being led by somebody who may not even be serious about winning this. I mean, he's out there talking about how he's got them contained and how their base of operations is actually shrinking. He also said that at the same time he said he's got them contained. The drive-bys are not reporting the second part of that. They're just reporting he said that ISIS is contained. But he also said their base of operations is shrinking. Their sphere of influence is shrinking.